All right, here we go again, getting you closer to Kentucky Derby number 152, and we use the next 3 weeks or so to analyze every single aspect of the race, how we approach it, how we handicap it, who we end up selecting, how we play things surrounding it, everything that I believe matters. One of the best things about this time of year for me is I can only focus on the handicapping and the betting. I don't have to worry about the culture. Everyone knows I hate the culture of horse racing. I hate it. And I hated having to support it for all those years. But the betting aspect of it, I just think it's far better than any other thing that you're ever going to play. Far more lucrative. The reward is incredible if you can put it all together. It's a little tricky, but I think we understand how the game works now. So this what makes this so much fun. All right, what I want to talk about here today is jockey assignments. The jockey mounts, why they matter, and the 5 that I believe are going to have the greatest impact on the outcome. Let's get started. We begin with taking a look at our leaderboard. Stays the same. We have check marks next to horses we're going to focus on here today. Further ado, Renegade, So Happy, Full Effort. Those are 4 of your top 5 point earners to qualify. And of course, no changes thus far with these horses. I'm sure we'll have something coming up here soon, but so far, nothing to report. And then the other horse we'll talk about is Pavlovian. Right to Party still in there. Incredibolt, Golden Tempo, Otino. Class President is out. I forgot to put the check mark through that one. Stark Contrast, Dan and Bourbon, Wonder Dean. I'm wondering how good that horse is. We'll find out. 6-speed. And then the other horses on the outside trying to get in. Iron Honor, Chief Wallaby, Chip Honcho, the only ones that matter. Intrepido, Universe, Greediness, nobody cares. All right. Of course, I said that about Baeza, and he got in and ran a good third, so I can't be trusted on stuff like that. But anyway, let's take a look at what's happening with our top 5 Kentucky Derby mounts. And we start with the guy who was probably the most important because all the dominoes had to fall after he made his selection because he was first call on about 4 of these horses, right? It's the number 1 rider in the country who has yet to win a Kentucky Derby. Irad Ortiz Jr. He's going to ride Renegade. And he's the top mount because I said he had first choice on about 3 or 4 of the horses that figure prominently. He's had an outstanding career, winning at 20%. That's tough to do, making over $386 million, but he would give some of that back to get a Kentucky Derby win. So he's going to ride a horse that might be one of the most impressive and one of the most consistent. And he's very interesting. Renegade has only had the 4-5 starts. And he looked really good when he was able to win the Sam F. Davis, coming back off of a layoff. I think that's what made that the most impressive. He was coming back off of the layoff, and he was able to win rather convincingly in a field of 9. He comes back, and he does it again with a very nice performance in the Arkansas Derby. And he was in control, ran right past them all. It was really impressive. And so Irad Ortiz gets that mount, and he'll have the horse in the right spot. And this might be the year that he gets his Kentucky Derby. But he's important because this is one of the best horses in the field with one of the best riders in the entire industry for Todd Pletcher. So he's going to figure. And after that, then we could start to figure out where everyone else is going to go. And that's when things get interesting. Edwin Maldonado, an absolute send rider. And you know what he's saying right now? He's like, please let me break on top and don't challenge me. Please let me break on top and don't challenge Pavlovian. Because if you do that, I'm going to be gone. Edwin Maldonado, another one of those just really good journeyman riders. Doesn't get nearly the opportunities that an Irad Ortiz Jr. would get, but he makes the most of them. Winning at 12%, earning over $61 million. No Kentucky Derby wins, but he's in position to at least be a factor early on with this horse. Like I said, I don't know if Pavlovian's good enough, but I know he's fast enough to be a factor, and I know that Edwin is going to make sure that he does everything that he can to break on top. And that's one of the things I love about these journeyman riders when they get into the big race like this, because the skills that they have been using every single day, whether they're Sonny Leon, riding at these smaller tracks, or Edwin Maldonado riding at big tracks but not really getting much fanfare, not really high profile, but anybody who plays the races on the West Coast, they know Edwin Maldonado is for real, and he's going to have a factor. He's going to have a hand in determining what happens in this race. Then I get to the next rider that I think is extremely important, mainly because he's going to be riding the horse that might be my top pick, and he's a rider that I have never really been able to connect with for whatever reason. I think it's my fault, not his, but you got to find a way to vibe with your rider. And I have not been able to vibe with Tyler Gaffalione, but damn it, we're going to ride together this year, TG. He is going to be riding Full Effort. And Gaffalione, also a very, very good rider. Had, I do believe, War of Will in the mix before he got shut off there by Maximum Security in the Kentucky Derby in 2019. Gaffalione winning at 17%, earning just a hair under $200 million in his career. No Derby wins. Okay. His chance this year, I think it's one of those things where I'm looking at it, and once he was named on this horse, my mind immediately went back to another horse that I knew that he rode as a 3-year-old, and I was like, okay, he can give them a similar ride. The horses are not comparable. Their running styles are similar, but the horses, their talent, not comparable. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is I believe that Tyler Gaffalione will give Full Effort the same kind of ride that he gave Sierra Leone early on in his career. So Sierra Leone won back-to-back races and then had that really troubled trip in the Kentucky Derby where he was bumping with Forever Young, and they couldn't quite beat Mystic Dan in that photo finish. But it was a great ride, and it's exactly what we're going to want to get from Full Effort. Full Effort is not, obviously, not as good as Sierra Leone, but I like the running style, and I like it if my jockey kind of understands that. There's certain riders, I've never seen them close in a big race. But Tyler Gaffalione is not one of those, and I trust him in a big race, and I think they're going to be in the right spot. You know, we'll just have to see if he gets enough to run at, right? And a horse has to take to the dirt, and we'll find out more about that as they continue training. But if he rides Full Effort like he did Sierra Leone as a 3-year-old, I think we're going to be in good shape. Then there's the man that's going to be a huge problem for everybody, and that is John Velazquez. Obviously, one of the greatest riders we have ever seen, earning more than $518 million, winning at a consistent clip, 18%. And he's got 3 Derby wins, 4 if you count Medina Spirit, which I do. But for the purposes of this argument, we can't put it up there. 3 Derby victories, right? And here's the thing about Johnny this year. Like when Irad Ortiz made his choice and he selected Renegade, and they said they're going to put Johnny V on Further Ado, I was like, holy smokes, that's a huge problem for everybody else. Because this horse was the most impressive, there's no doubt about it, in the preps, right? So he likes to win by a huge margin. He doesn't mess around. You can see what he's been able to do. In his maiden breaking score, he won by 20 lengths at Keeneland. Came back to win the Jockey Club Gold Cup at Churchill in November. Then he takes a break, comes back, barely loses in the Tampa Bay Derby. That's because he was coming back off the layoff. And then after that, he absolutely blows them off the track. Now listen, it was a compromised field, but that's not his fault. And he has such a nice running style. He'll be close to the pace, and then he just has a spurt, and he will get away from the field. And the question is, can they get him? I don't know. And depending upon his odds, I don't know. I might play Further Ado because I know that Johnny V is going to put this horse in a great spot because he's got that early speed where he can place him anywhere he wants. He's got that class and nice acceleration, and I just think he's going to be really, really tough to deal with. That's the way I see that. And Johnny's the perfect rider because he's going to put him in a great spot. And then the next jockey that is so important, you've heard me say it all the time. Man, Mike Smith just makes things happen. And if So Happy is in the gate and ready to go, I think that Mike is the perfect rider for him. Obviously, Mike is the only rider this horse has ever seen in the 3 starts. But you look at Mike and what he's been able to do, one of the greatest riders we've ever seen. Came back from just an absolutely devastating injury in the 90s when he broke his back, which is really hard to get over. And he went through a stint in Southern California. He and I talked about this years ago, where he went like 0 for his first 36 mounts in Southern California. It was like 2002 or 3 or something like that. He just had a horrible time. And then right around You know, he was on Came Home and stuff like that early on, and then 2005, Giacomo. And then everything turned right then. It switched. Boom! And Mike got it going back in the right direction. You know, he had Azeri and stuff like that in there. So he just had some things really turn around for him. Just a great rider. 16% winning, $357 million earned, 2 Kentucky Derby victories, and he's in position to get his third. Now, he's going to be up against it because the horse has limited experience. But I just feel like the horse has got some speed. And I think that's where Mike and So Happy are going to be able to make some impact. If they can get out of the gate in good order, I think Mike puts this runner in position. Now, obviously, Mike has experience with running or riding horses who have speed, who don't have a lot of experience, Justify. But there's no way that So Happy is as good as Justify. I don't think. But the horse is interesting, and Mike being on him and Mike just knowing how to deal with these younger horses and the experience he had with Justify and just the fact that he just knows what he's doing in this race, I think really bodes well for So Happy. And so those are the 5 riders that I believe are the keys to handicapping the race and finding the horse that you want. There are obviously other great riders in the race. And believe it or not, every single jockey that gets a mount in the Kentucky Derby has already proven themselves one way or the other. So you can trust them. It's just about how you feel about the horse, track, and the vibe that you get from the rider, right? It just depends on how you feel. And sometimes it's also about playing a hunch or something that might be emotional. Like I've never been able to really play Tyler Gaffalione. He's an outstanding rider. Me and him just never hooked up. I bet him one time. I bet him War of Will to win the Preakness. Made money that day. I've never really bet him. So I'm going to think about, I really do like Full Effort. I like that kind of horse. I love the synthetic to dirt now. I think it's a really, really great angle, a really strong angle. And that's kind of why I'm leaning toward Full Effort and Tyler Gaffalione. But Johnny Villa and Further Ado, if they're any value whatsoever, you have to consider them. And then, I still like Incredibolt. Incredibolt's a horse that I think might get over bet. And so that's why I probably won't play him. But I like him. He's got talent. He's proven himself at Churchill as well. All right, so that's how we do it here on Horse Race Bets. In the meantime, in between time, until next time, we will see you here. I'm Ken Rudolph. Hey, good luck and enjoy whatever you're into. We'll get right back into our Derby discussion next time.